What's good, everybody? One more thing I forgot to mention um, is the fact that Wembanyama didn't handshake anybody or whatever. Okay. First off, who gives a fuck? Okay. Listen, have you ever lost anything and for you to wait and just like everybody? Okay, so the Knicks, they rushed to everybody. They all their people. They rushed. They're excited amongst their team. You know, I wouldn't want to fucking wait and see them hug each other and blah blah blah, and then go in there and be like, oh, excuse me, oh, good job, way to go. You know what I mean? And even at that, if I win, I wouldn't want you to come to me either. That's just me. You know what I mean? Like whatever. You know what? You won. See you later. I'm going to the locker room, and that's that. You know what I mean? I get it. I don't see why people are saying any talking shit about Wemby not saying congratulations or Vassell. These two guys right here, the powerhouse of the Spurs, with this guy here. So you know what? Hey, I'm pretty sure Wemby, locker room afterwards say, hey, congratulations, you guys, blah blah blah. But there is no rule in sports or anything in a championship game where you have to congratulate the other person, in front of everybody. You take it back to when the Pistons did that to the Bulls, and they did it before the game was even over, and they just went right by and whatever. Like even that was like, you know what? Okay, so what? Who cared? Did anybody care? Did anybody make a big deal of it? Michael Jordan did. The Bulls did, and that franchise did, and a couple of people. It wasn't a big thing until they started going back to it. It happened. It was done, and it's there. But now, Wemby didn't go and congratulate them. Like, who? I wouldn't want to go congratulate them either, especially when they're celebrating. Who wants to interrupt them celebrating? I would hate for somebody to come and interrupt me while I'm celebrating with my mans and them. Yeah, but oh yeah, I'm so sorry. That shit doesn't no mean shit. That motherfuckers don't care about that. So Wemby, man, I know he doesn't worry about it. I know I wouldn't even care. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, man, the Spurs did a good job. There's some other things that I'm trying to remember. I need to write shit down, but I just don't. I just come out here and just start talking and forget what I'm going to talk about. And sometimes it might be short and long, but whatever. We don't need to do any tweaking. Well, I'm lying. We do. We need to get some rebounders. Either that or we had bigs. I don't know why we didn't use any of our bigs. We just kept the same rotation. That was kind of frustrating, but we always had the lead and we were always winning. It's just in that third quarter, and I tell everybody, every time I watch the Spurs and you're watching it with me, here comes the third quarter. Something about that third quarter through the whole season. That third quarter, we would be up by a lot, and the team would come back. Sometimes we'd pull it off, sometimes we didn't. And New York pulled it off, and it wasn't because they were a better team. It's just that we killed ourselves. We did inexperienced things in the finals. We did inexperienced things that we weren't doing earlier. We kind of saw it in OKC, the inexperienced thing, and then we went there and to the finals, and then we saw the inexperience. But who fucking cares? We got there when no one thought we would. You know what I'm saying? So that's the overall look. And every Spurs fan should look at that. We weren't even supposed to be there, and we were. Okay? All these other commentators and all that shit, they knew it, and it pissed us off because we're like, man, fuck y'all. You know what I mean? You guys are always against the Spurs. We feel that way, right? As Spurs fans. But they were right. They don't. I don't know if they do like the Spurs or not because they jumped on the bandwagon, and then I guess because it was New York, and the popular thing to do is to go with New York. So I get it, all you flip floppers and no loyalty. You know what I mean? We're the only loyalty ones, and the Spurs were the only loyal people to San Antonio. Everybody else, Charles Barkley, Shaq, and whatever. But Stephen A. Smith. What's the other dude from the Big Perk? Who else are those guys? They were like, oh yeah, Spurs, and then it went to the popular New York. Oh no, I gotta go to New York. They're more experienced, which is true. I get it, but and they're not Spurs fans, and they're not loyal like we are to the Spurs. So I get it. They're there for TV and the ratings and all that stuff. So I get it. You know, once, you know, and I say it again. I think it's gonna be Spurs in New York again next year. I mean, it, uh, L.A. Luka comes back, maybe. I mean, LeBron James, he's not a threat anymore. He needs to retire. No one from the East is any good unless somebody gets Giannis. Unless let's say New York gets Giannis. You know, I think they can do that. Who else can get Giannis? Uh, there was another team that was like, oh shit, they should try to go and get him. Was New York? Anyways, I can't remember, but there's a team out there that I'm like, oh, that would be a good fit, and that would cause some shit. But anyway, like I said, man, you know what? Congratulations to the Spurs. Congratulations to New York. You know, they did it. They got there. No other teams can say they got there. And they did all that job, man. Wemby, man, don't even fucking worry about it, dog. Shit, you congratulate whoever the hell you want to congratulate, and you didn't want to do it this time, so you know what? Fuck them. All right, y'all. Remember to be distinguished, stay distinguished, learn something. Don't get in trouble. All right, y'all. Like.